friends, it's me, Stephanie from the library, and I have a great story for you today. We're going to talk about some super interesting stuff. I wanted to say that today's story is actually about a rock, and I really enjoyed getting to see all the rocks that you picked last week. You picked some really, really good ones, and one person even told me that their rock smelled like the candy that their dentist gives them. So I was happy to hear and see that you were experiencing rocks with all your senses, even your nose, which can seem a little ridiculous, but you did it. And that's what poets do. They use all their senses to experience something. Now, today's rock book is very different, and it's actually one that we started reading and that I forgot about. It is a Chris Van Allsberg book, and it's called The Wretched Stone. Now, I think that we had left off, we had left school and we didn't get to finish this book, so I wanted to come back to it because we know that at the end of every Chris Van Allsberg book, there is a big twist. This book is a little bit spooky, and I can't wait to finish it with you today. So let's read what we're going to do. It says, "Hello, readers." Hi. Today we will, 1, decode some symbols. Now, I wanted to start with decoding some symbols and telling you what symbols are because the wretched stone in this book is a symbol. Now, a symbol is something that seems simple on the surface, but it really has a deeper, secret meaning. And it's the author, Chris Van Allsberg, trying to send a secret message to you. So because I want to make sure you get the secret message that Chris Van Allsberg is sending to you, we're going to get warmed up and I'm going to teach you how to read and make sense of some symbols. All right. So first of all, you're going to need to know what a symbol is. And a symbol is simply something that stands for something else or represents something else. Now, stories use symbols to represent ideas and values, okay? And I'm going to show you an example. So let's see if you can guess what some of these symbols represent. Remember, it's going to be a concrete, regular thing, but it's going to mean something deeper. It's going to be an idea or a value that the simple thing represents. Right, are you ready for your first symbol? Let's see if you know what this means. If you saw these symbols, what would you know they meant? Now, you're probably sitting at home yelling at the screen, "Spider-Man!" But, and they do represent Spider-Man, but a symbol represents a deeper idea or a value. So, what idea does Spider-Man represent? I have a theory. I think Spider-Man represents a secret identity because he's not Spider-Man all the time, right? Sometimes he's Peter Parker, a regular person. And so I think Spider-Man is really a symbol of how regular-looking people can have a hero hidden inside them. See how these symbols had a deeper meaning that we could read into them with our brain and deep thinking? Okay, I have another one for you. This is actually a Native American symbol. It's 2 arrows crossing. It could mean many things, but in the tribe that I looked up, it said that these 2 arrows crossing was a symbol of friendship, right? So that's a deeper idea. And so maybe this means one person and this means another person, and you come together right here in the middle in friendship. Right, let's see what else we have here. So this is another native symbol I thought was really cool. This one is a symbol of a bear. But we got to go a little bit deeper. What does a bear mean? Well, in this tribe, the bear is a symbol of strength and bravery. And those are the ideas that this symbol, the bear, represents. All right, I I have just one more for you. And it is a picture of the sun. Now, we know it's a symbol of the sun, but what could the sun mean? Well, the sun means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It could be a symbol of growing or life, right? Those deeper ideas. So, now that we've warmed up our brain to some symbols thinking, I want you to be thinking about what the wretched stone is a symbol of. So, we're going to hear what it looks like, but pay close attention to what secret idea Chris Van Allsberg is trying to give you. All right. This is the wretched stone, and I'll start over at the beginning, even though we were halfway through last time. And if you remember, this book is not written like a normal story. It's like we're reading the diary of the captain of the Rita Ann, a ship. This is excerpts from the log, which is like a captain's diary of the Rita Ann. Randall Ethan Hope, the captain. So we get the captain's perspective here. Okay. We finished bringing, it was May 8th. We finished bringing supplies aboard early this morning. At midday, we left on the tide and found a fresh breeze just outside the harbor. It is a good omen that our voyage has begun with fair winds and a clear sky. Now, a good omen means a good sign, that this will be a good journey all the way through because it started out with good winds and good sky. Now, this is the next day, May 9th. The first mate, Mr. Howard, has brought together a fine crew. We can see some of them down there, getting the ship set up. These men are not only good sailors, but they are accomplished in other ways. Many read and have borrowed books from my small library. Some play musical instruments, and there are a few good storytellers among them. May 17th. Our passage is going well. The usual boredom that comes with many days at sea is not present on this ship. When the members of this clever crew are not on duty, I find them singing or dancing or amusing each other with tales of past adventure. So it seems like all of these sailors really like art. They all have another talent other than sailing. They like to dance, tell stories. Ooh, this is an exciting entry. Land ho! Slightly before sunset, we spotted an island. I have consulted my charts, but do not see it recorded. This is odd, since ships have sailed through these waters for years, and apparently they have all missed this place. We are low on water and would be happy to find fresh fruit growing here. Tomorrow I will take some men ashore and we will look about. So strange that it has not been on the map. Right, you ready to go on shore? Look at the weird light coming through the trees. June 6th. I have just returned from the island. It is strange indeed. The vegetation is lush, but not a single plant bears fruit. The air has an odor that seems at first sweet and pleasant, and then it becomes an overpowering stink. I saw no sign of animal life, not even an insect. We found a spring that had water that was too bitter to drink. We discovered something quite extraordinary, though, which I have brought aboard. Pay close attention. It is a rock. Approximately 2 feet across, so maybe about like the size of this book. It is roughly textured and gray in color, but a portion of it is flat and smooth as glass. From the surface comes a glowing light that is quite beautiful and pleasing to look at. The thing is unbelievably heavy, requiring 6 strong men to lift it. With great effort, we were able to get it aboard, and into the forward hold. We have set sail and are underway again. And I'll show you a picture I drew of the rock after the story's over. June 10th. I think see that light coming from the hold? I think that's where the stone is. The crew is fascinated by the rock. When not needed on deck, they are down below, gazing in silence at the peculiar light it gives off. I miss the music and storytelling that have become a part of our ship's life. Over the last few days have passed quite slowly. The men, however, seem perfectly content. I am sure their interest in the stone will fade away soon. So it seems like they're becoming obsessed with looking at that stone, right? June 13th. And some of you pointed out the first time, because this is the magic page, the cover of the book, the first time we saw this, that looks like this person is acting like a monkey. Something is wrong with the crew. They rarely speak, and though they swing through the rigging more quickly than ever, they walk on the decks clumsily, stooped over. Last night, I heard shrieks coming from the forward hold. I believe they have contracted some kind of fever that came on board with the stone. I told Mr. Howard that tomorrow I will have that thing thrown overboard. Now, this morning I awoke. This is June 14th. This morning I awoke to find the deck deserted. The wheel was tied steady with a rope. I believe Mr. Howard, who spent some time around the rock, told the man about my plan to get rid of it. They have now locked themselves in the forward hold. They apparently believe, in their feverish state, that I can sail this boat alone while they sit around that wretched stone. So now the captain is all alone, left to sail the entire ship because everyone is staring at the stone. Uh-oh. We are in grave danger. June 15th. A powerful storm is headed this way. All morning long, the wind has grown steadily stronger. The sky is filled with dark clouds. I am unable to shorten the sails by myself. With this much canvas up, we will surely be blown over and sink when the full force of the storm arrives. I'm going to the forward hold again to try to get the crew to work. All of our lives depend on it. So the captain cannot take down all these sails by himself. So he's going to make one final plea to get the men to help him. This is a really creepy page. Can you see what has happened to the men? This is, I am sure, my last entry. What I have just seen is so horrifying, I barely have the strength to write it down. After I pounded at the door to the forward hold, it finally swung open. But it was not a man who opened the door. It was an ape. The whole crew was turned into hairy beasts. They just sat there, grinning at the terrible rock. They don't understand a word I say. We are doomed. And I'll go ahead and point out something very little here in the monkey room that you might miss otherwise. It's a little tail, and I think you know who that is. It's Fritz the dog, who Chris Van Allsberg puts in every book. Uh-oh. Look here. All the sails are broken. But on June 16th, the captain writes, "The storm has passed. The Rita Ann is still afloat, but both masts and the rudder of the ship are lost. The stone has gone dark. We were struck by lightning twice during the storm. I believe that was the cause. Unfortunately, the crew is unchanged. They are still beasts, but seem sad and lost without the glowing rock. I have moved them back to their quarters. We have food for 2 weeks, and I am hopeful for a rescue." So the light on the rock has gone out. June 19th. I have made an encouraging discovery. I am playing the violin and reading to the crew. It is having a positive effect. They are walking upright and have an alert look in their eyes. June 24th. I was in the forward hold today. A dull glow was coming from the stone. I have covered it and will keep the compartment locked. So to prevent the crew from going back to the stone, right? June 28th. I'm happy to report that the men have returned to normal. It seems that those who knew how to read recovered most quickly. That's interesting. Why do you think that might be? That the ones who knew how to read recovered fastest. June 30th. We are saved. A ship has been spotted off our starboard side, and I have decided to scuttle the Rita Ann. There is only one place for the wretched stone. Before we abandon ship, I will set a fire that will send this vessel and her cargo, the stone, to the bottom of the sea. June 12th. Our rescuers have left us in the harbor town of Santa Pango. One by one, the crew should be able to sign on to ships passing through and work their way home. We have made an agreement not to talk about the strange events that took place aboard the Rita Ann. The men appear to have recovered completely, though some show an unnatural appetite for the fruit that is available here. And do you see what food is available there? Bananas. All right, friends. I told you that the wretched stone was a symbol, right? And I'll give you a hint about what it's a symbol for, what deeper idea. Now remember this description, because we never actually see the stone. We only see its effects. So we know that it's gray in color, roughly textured, but a portion of it is flat and smooth as glass. From the surface comes a glowing light that is beautiful and pleasing to look at. And I think that this item that is described, this stone, probably looks a lot like something in your house. So this has a rough backside, right? A smooth glass side where light comes out of. And I'll give you a hint question. How is what is happening to the crew similar to what happens to people when they watch television or stare at a screen too much? So I have a theory that, well, I won't tell you. Please leave a note and tell me what you think the stone is a symbol of and why in your response today. All right, friends, I had a great time talking about symbols and reading with you, and I will be back soon with another story. Bye.